Well, hello everyone. This is Wild Bill again. This is the day after Christmas, and I lied to you. I'll admit it. I lied. I told you that would be the last video you've seen. Would in fact be the last one of that bird, but I have to do another little follow-up here in an attempt to maybe share some things with you that you might be able to use or to take advantage of in some way down the road, whatever, or just let some of you know that you're not alone. And so with that being said, let me tell you that yesterday well, first of all, I indicated that I was going to fly him some more on the crayons, you recall that. And I did. I flew him a couple more days. And the reason why I wanted to do that wasn't so much to build up our relationship as it was to strengthen him coming to that glove. As you know, because I figured if he's going to come off of that cliff way to hell up there to me, then I think he's comfortable enough. I don't need to worry too much about that. But what did bother me was the flybys. He come off the cliff and then flew by me and then circled around, and then it went, and even on the pole, when I called him from the pole, he came down and flew by me. And then landed on the ground, as you know. And that bothered me. So what I really think he needed, and what I wanted to do on these crayons training again, is to strengthen him eating off that glove. And heretofore, it was pretty fast, right? I mean, I would go out there while he was on the crayons, call him to the fist, let him have a couple bites, and back we'd go. Even when he ate off the lure, it didn't take him long at all. And of course, to eat that what he had, and then he'd come up to the fist and I'd give him what was left, which wasn't much. And so what I decided to do was I had some rabbit, and I got two rear legs of cottontail. And what I decided, here's what I did. I went ahead and, did the calling to the fist and all that. And then the last thing, of course, I called him to the lure. And then after he got done eating on the lure, I would have a rabbit leg up there for him. And he would come up to the rabbit leg and eat on it. And he ate, and he ate, He was able to stay on that fist and get a good feeding off of it. And like I said, I did that a couple of times, and I think it paid off. I really do. Because here's what happened. Let's see. I took him the day before Christmas. I took him out to the field to go hawking for the first time. And I use that term loosely because I didn't know what the hell he was going to do, and I didn't know, so it wasn't a big thing. So I get out there, and one of the problems, like that I may have mentioned before, if I did, I apologize. He said, here in this area, if you get out of town, there's no perches, no trees, so that means that you got to make do. So there's this field that I take my dog to every morning, go on a run. And it has telephone poles, relatively shorter ones, not the real tall one, along the edge of it. And there's jacks in that field. Now, it's not an ideal field to hawk jacks because it's too much cover. But I thought it'd be a good place to see what happens. So anyway, off we went, and get the bird out, and wait for it to finally get up, take off and get up in that on one of the poles, and then I walk around a little bit, as you do, and then I called him, and he came. Now, not only did that bird come to the fist, but he stayed on it. I mean, I was walking around the field with him on that fist, and he was perfectly comfortable. That was amazing, because certainly he was noticeably, I would say, more at ease on the fist in that field walking around than he was if I had him on the fist in the house. So I don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get with these birds. But he would do that. I mean, he would stay on there a long time until my arm got tired. And then finally I tried to hold him up and encourage him to fly up on one of those damn poles. It was amazing to me. I just couldn't believe he was going to react that way. So, and of course, every time I put him up there, he'd come to me right away. In fact, he came to me a couple of times without me calling him. I was just walking around, and he said, "Here I come, Bill. Get ready." And so that's how well it went. And here's the thing. You remember I had him down to 35 ounces, when I flew him off the cliff. That was where I wanted him. He was at 35.3 ounces. So I really think that letting him eat on that fist for a while, for those couple of days, made the difference. And that's what I wanted to share with you, just in case it might be a benefit down the road for some folks. Let's see, and what else can I tell you? So he came real well, and it was a good experience for me. Now, I know there was something else. Yeah, I guess that was it. But I did want to tell you one thing. Oh, I want to tell you a couple things, actually. The Muse. Let me talk about the Muse. So, for some reason, in that rear perch, with the higher one in the rear that you saw, he would turn around and bait at the wall. I could see him through the camera, baiting, just trying to hang on to the wall. So I had to take care of that. I just covered it, and that ended that. And then, so he then decides to, when he be out on that front perch down by the window, he decided that he was going to fly off the perch up to that front wall and try to grab it. And I don't think it was because he could see that much out of or that enough for him to. I don't think his vision through that shade cloth was enough to encourage him to do that. What I think was happening was how the wood is spaced, those, and he could, you could see out that way. I think that's what was prompting him to do that. So I had to block that off. And then he decides that he's going to get down on the ground. And you remember a portion of that didn't have enough to cover the entire to cover it a second time all the way down to the ground. So he decides he's going to get down there because he can see better through there and start walking back and forth, trying to get out of the pin. And so I had a little bit left, and I blocked off not the upper portion of it, but the lower portion, in hopes that will stop him from doing that. I don't know if it has or not, because I haven't looked at my little camera, but I hope it has. So I had to take care of that. And now finally, I'm sorry about the length of this thing. I wanted to tell you that he is, I think he's as aggressive. And I say that for a couple of reasons. The couple of times when he came to me out there and flew without me calling him out in the field. I would walk along with him out there. I look over at him, and he had that, I don't know, you guys are probably familiar with this, but when a hawk is thinking about taking you on, they got a certain look in their eyes. And he had that look. Now, whether he'd have followed through on it, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, he had it. And so I'm going to have to be careful with this rascal. It'll be interesting to see what he does when he catches his first rabbit, and I have to go in and dispatch it. We'll see how he acts on that deal. But he definitely had that look, and he's aggressive towards me if I try to mess with him, like particularly his feet, you know. He'll grab me. In fact, you can't see my hand, but he's I got a number of puncture holes on his left hand, because I'm left-handed, and so a few of them on this one, where he's got a hold of me, and so he, I think, has some aggression. I think he's somewhat aggressive by nature. That's what I'm thinking. So, okay, that's it. Except that I want to tell you that tomorrow, today, sorry. I'm going to take him out again. This will be the second time out there hawking. And I'm going to bring Giddy with me this time and see how he acts with Giddy in the field. And I thought I would film that so that as best I can, you know how it is. But I'll go to the same field, and those poles aren't that far away, even though they'll look like they're a long ways away to you. I think it'll work out. I hope so. If not, you won't be able to see that part, I guess. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, well, I'll see you in the field.